matter if you call her Nana, Granny, or Meemaw, our grandmothers are special people and deserve their own special day. So today is Gorgeous Grandma Day. Well, some grandmas appreciate that they earned their gray. The grandmas we're about to show you made their gray go away. Rachel Gower and the team at the Upper Hand Salon treated some grandmas to a hairstyle makeover. Please welcome Rachel along with stylist Aya. Good morning. All right, gray is kind of all over the map now because there are a lot of people who are like, look, I'm okay with my gray, I don't care.
Right.
And you even see young people on purpose coloring their hair gray. But gray by nature is kind of like a wily thing, isn't it? Because the hair just changes.
It changes the whole texture and everything.
Yeah, it acts like the way it wants to.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then also with gray, the thing is the hard part for a lot of people is transitioning because you have that kind of salt and pepper, but it takes a while to get the right balance.
Right. So, you know, if you're gray, okay, so here's a good example. So if your gray grows in and you're fine with it and it looks great on you, which it does on her, then, you know, you might not actually like the tone of it or the actual color of it. So you can do something about that. With all the options today, you can give yourself, well, at the salon, we can give you highlights and lowlights using gray tones. So you can have silver, gray, charcoal tones, which will give your natural gray more dimension. It looks a lot more interesting.
Yeah, gray, the ultimate platinum blonde.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It really is. There's a fine line.
Yeah, but then as we mentioned, there are some folks that when it's not growing in right in the whole bit, we just act like it's not even there. So we treated some grandmas to a makeover, starting with Benilde.
Benilde. Okay, so let's take. Okay, so when I actually saw her before picture, I thought it was actually an after picture, and I was like, send her back. So you can see, though, when you look closely, that she does have a lot of gray. Her gray grows in around her hairline there, and she also had a lot of length. So what Connie did is, well, here, let's take a look at her.
Yeah, look at that.
Look at how, is she pretty?
Oh, yeah. So what Connie actually did was cover up her base, her gray, and then she lightened the end using a technique called balayage, which is where you freehand paint those ends. So that way it gave it a lot more dimension versus using that box, which gives it a flat, solid look.
Yeah. And one great part about going to the salon is that grays sometimes are hard to take color. You have color that will do that.
Yes, we sure do. That's a really good point. So you know, it's really tempting to use that box color at home because her, you know, she needs to touch her regrowth every couple of weeks, but the color that we use is going to last a lot longer, and you don't get that matte look. You get the real shine. And then, as you know, Aya mentioned, Connie started to give her a few balayage highlights here. So the goal with that is that eventually she's going to transition lighter.
Yeah, and it doesn't look flat on her head. All right, Benilde, you have 2 grandkids?
I do.
What makes it cool to be a grandma? Besides the fact that you can give them back.
Well, one of the things that I enjoyed doing with my grandsons is swimming, racing them. So that's one of the things we've been doing lately. And yes, being a grandmother is an absolute joy. And it's actually a different experience from being a first time, like a mom.
She's like racing them and the whole bit. You're a whole different grandma there. Look at the shoulders working and the whole bit. Toss your hair for me. Go ahead, toss your hair.
She is a total hottie.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, thank you very much.
One more thing, I just want to give a shout out to all the grandmothers. You're all gorgeous.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, our next grandma is Leslie. Let's take a look at Leslie's before.
So Leslie's before picture, we don't want to see you yet. Okay, there she is. Okay, so Leslie's gorgeous. You'll see in a second. But you can see her gray. And so here she is right here. Okay, come on, there she is.
So it was 100% gray. What's kind of cool with the gray in her hair, too, is that sometimes grays can act like a highlight when you deposit another color on it.
Of course,
it's still lighter than your base hair.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
what we did with her is she used to box color her hair. She's actually my mom, but she lives really far away.
Okay. Your daughter's a stylist and you were box coloring your own hair.
She lives an hour away.
All right.
So finally she moved to this side of town. We gradually worked her into highlights. We did a full head of highlights and then did her base color. But the next step is to be only doing the highlights and lowlights, so it's a gray blending technique.
Yeah, because sometimes what you want to do is if people would just go into you and you don't have to deal with reversing what damage we did with their own box color, right?
Exactly.
But you can do that. Okay, so you're a grandma?
Yes, I am.
Tell me about your grandchildren.
I have one. His name is Andrew, and he is 10 years old and very joyful, very proud to spend some time with him.
Yeah, and he's like, look at my hot grandma.
Look at her.
Thanks to her daughter, right?
Right.
Right here. But yeah, so just going through the color here and then evening out some things. And also we talked about how gray hair can be resistant. When you put that color into it, you almost tame it a little bit and add a little bit more body.
You do, but also what she did here is she gave her a Brazilian blowout, which we've talked about before.
Because gray hair can be wiry.
Oh my gosh, it has that texture that's just crazy. And she already had thick, coarse hair to start with. So this was really the perfect perfect thing to do with Leslie. And don't you love it already?
I absolutely do.
You can tell.
Very pretty. Okay, so thank you very much.
Now,
our next before pick is Glenda.
Okay, so Glenda, all right, so you can see Glenda likes to be blonde, but her highlights were a little bit chunky, so it actually kind of ages you a little bit unnecessarily. So I have really, her challenge was to blend this to keep her blonde looking, but to make it look more natural.
So with the stripiness, it also causes a line of demarcation.
Right.
So instead of seeing a nice blended girl out, you see one line this way and then lines this way.
You see all of your box colors,
Right.
number 34,
Yeah,
number
exactly.
35, number
Right,
36.
right,
Yeah.
So what we did is we put in highlights. We only did half the head, and then we put in a base color as well. And the goal is to eventually work it out where she grows out the highlights and lowlights. No base color.
And also the tone of colors that you put on. So when our skin gets a little bit older, sometimes things can wash us out.
That's
sometimes things
right.
can make us look older. So what you do is you warm up the face.
You warm up the face, and you want that dimension too. So that makes the hair really look like it has a lot more life to it. And she was also a little bit too gold. So she's a little bit cooler now, which is
Linda's nodding her head. I'm
Yeah,
glad. She's like, I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
All right. Tell us
makes
about
a
your
nice
grandchildren.
difference.
Well, I have 8.
Oh, wow.
I have got 2 more on the way, so we'll have a whole baseball team.
Yeah. Oh, that's very cool. So 10 grandkids. You know, the thing I find interesting too is I look at me today, at my mom at my age at that time was so completely not, like she wouldn't even wear a pair of jeans. So that's for the young people.
Things have changed.
Right, things have changed.
Yes. Look at these ladies. They're so hot. They
I know,
really
it's
are.
fantastic. All right. Ladies, thank you very much and happy Gorgeous Grandma Day.
Thank you, ladies.
Okay. Call the Upper Hand Salon now to make your appointment. The number is right there on your screen. Let's put that up, 713-520-0772, 713-520-0772. They have 3 locations, River Oaks, Royal Oaks, and Hyde Park. For more information, log on to theupperhand.com, and they can do anybody's hair, not just Gorgeous Grandma's hair. And if you feel like you don't really have enough hair, they can put some there. Okay.